What's going on today, guys? This video is just going to be a short and sweet one. As you can see, I got two ATI Radeon Sapphire XT1650 Pro cards. These are the PCI ones. They also came in AGP, and I'm replacing the thermal paste on them using some MX4. It was like $4 off Amazon. There's better, but these cards don't deserve better. With the camera zoomed in here, you can really see how much dust and dirt buildup there is in the fan and around the plastic and just on the PCB itself. A little bit of specs on these. They are AGP, or you can get PCI ones. These ones are the PCI. I believe AGP had a VGA out. These have dual DVI out and support dual monitor, and then they have a little plug in the center that would have come with the dongle so you could run composite or S-video. I didn't get the dongle with these. Basically, I purchased like 30 or 40 graphics cards for 25 bucks. They were all pretty low end. There was a couple semi-decent workstation ones, but for the most part, they're just lower end ones. This card supports DirectX 9, and it is 512 GDDR2, I believe, and has, I want to say, an 800 megahertz clock speed. I could be wrong about that, and it'll easily push, like I had it doing 2560 by 1600 on an old monitor. You know, if you wanted to do some light gaming and throw this in an XP machine, it would probably work good for that. I didn't see any support for Windows 10. I was able to get it working in a Windows 7 PC, and it was fine for light internet browsing and watching like 720p video and playing a couple lighter emulation games like NES, SNES, Sega Genesis. Nothing too crazy, but as you can see here, I'm just going to remove the heat shield or the heat sink to expose the actual processor and clean up all that old thermal paste. You can see some of the old thermal paste on the aluminum piece there. Just unplug the fan header. They can be tricky sometimes, especially with these old ones. There we go. Come on. There, got it out. Alright, so now you can see the dust. You can see the little, I don't know, I think they call it a die. If I butchered the name of the PC parts, my apologies. So I'm just going to use a little bit of rubbing alcohol and a paper towel to clean off the die and the heat shield. So with just a little bit of rubbing and some alcohol, this will kind of slowly start to fade away. It's a little crusted on and baked. Some graphics cards you take apart too, they will have little thermal pads. They look like 3M adhesive stickers almost. These didn't have any of that. If you do need to get thermal pads, you can get them for, you know, if you want to wait for them to come from China, you can get big sheets of 24, 46 for a couple bucks, or you can spend about $10 and just order them off Amazon Prime and not wait 2 months for them to come in. So as you can see, that's all cleaned up nice and shiny. You can see the little ATI logo, and now I just gotta clean the aluminum. Same thing applies, just kind of wipe it off. Don't need that landing in the fan. It was pretty dried on and crusty and old, so it almost just kind of pushed off. There you can see it's all cleaned up, and we're ready to apply new thermal paste. Well, actually not quite yet. I'm going to dust off this card because it is really dusty and dirty and needs a bit of a brush. Now you want to use an anti-static brush for this, or one that doesn't make static. I did hit this with the air gun, and honestly the dust was just kind of too stuck on for the air gun to really get this sort of fine dust off. So this is actually a Smith & Corona keyboard brush cleaner. From what I read online, they claim to be anti-static too, so I'm using it. But if you guys want to be safe, you can buy some anti-static brushes on Amazon for pretty cheap, and I'll leave links below for all that stuff. But I'm just going to work my way around and get all this dust off, and while I'm at it, I'll look closely at some of the caps just to look for swollen or leaking caps or any bad tracers and things like that. Alright guys, well that about does it for this video. I got the screws tightened down, it's all cleaned up. The only thing you didn't see is I did air gun the fan and the casing outside in the shed. There's no point in filming that, it's a little loud. I guess if you guys want to see that next time, let me know. And there's my little blue static mat I use, it's quite the handy thing. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.